I'm not your teacher, but if I was, I'd assign this article as required reading for everybody on the internet who can still speak in full sentences. The cover story in this month's New York Magazine is A Theory of Dumb, and it covers the rise and fall of our intelligence collectively over the last century. See, for most of that time, we were getting smarter, and because our brains don't evolve that quickly, it had to be some sort of consciousness upgrade thanks to education, the environment, our economic system, and probably like less lead in our food. But starting in the 2000s, our collective IQ began to fall, particularly in terms of our fluid intelligence, our ability to like think and reason on the go. Now, the article does plenty of caveating around potential causes and the limits of IQ as an intelligence measure, but it also notes the fact that for anybody who's living in society today, the response to this would just be like, duh. Look at our politics, look at our discourse, look at the way that brain rot and brain fog have become trending terms. Like, we all have the sense that collectively we should be thinking better. The crucial shift in perspective the article offers, though, isn't that it's your phone and your app ruining your brain. Like, you've heard that warning 100 times already this week. It's that it's our exposure to each other that is driving at least some significant portion of the problem. Our brains evolved at a time we lived in, packs of dozens to hundreds, and now on an hour on the internet, you will be exposed to thousands, if not tens of thousands of different voices. Never before has it been easier for low quality information to spread so widely. Never before has it been easy for like the dumbest person to have such a huge impact. And at a time when social media is the main source of news for the average American, the currency of success is compression, the ability to take reporting or information gathered by somebody else and digest it into the neatest, most accessible soundbite for mass consumption. That is literally what I'm doing right now, taking a 4,000 word article that I did not write and compressing it into a soundbite for you all that'll come in at under 3 minutes. That's kind of how everything gets to us these days, only now it's going to start getting filled with unfathomable amounts of artificial intelligence slop. Part of the thesis for why I've even started posting on this app is not so much that I have like unique value to add, but as someone who's concerned that there aren't enough conversations happening in good faith on the internet or that are helping us try and figure out some approximation of the best version of ourselves, I share in some of the responsibility to contribute positively to the space. The same way in my public park I'd pick up trash off the street or volunteer to plant flowers a couple times a year. And I've only been doing it for a couple of months, and sure, I get yelled at plenty by people who wish World War II had gone a different direction, but I've also had some really interesting conversations with, people of good faith who are trying to figure out aspirationally, how can we live on the internet and use these technologies for our betterment, not just to like slowly doom spiral us down into the worst versions of ourselves. Because like I said yesterday, the robots have won, and unless we go full fallout, the technology is here to stay, and it's only going to become more compelling, more addictive, and more omnipresent in our lives. So it strikes me that if you're on this app, and especially if you're contributing to the discourse in some way, you have some responsibility to do that in good faith. Not only because it influences each other, but because it influences you and your own health outcomes. We are all people whose quality of life now, and for sure in the future, is going to increasingly depend on our ability to use technology healthfully, not let it use us. Anyways, I think the article is essential internet era reading. I think we're going to hear a lot about it over the next couple of weeks on this app, and I really encourage you to go read it for yourself. Plus, I'd love to hear whatever thoughts you have on it in the comments.